Hey everyone, I'm Brad, a performance coach, entrepreneur, and someone obsessed with helping people unlock their full potential physically, mentally, and emotionally.
And I'm Raquel, a yoga and fitness instructor, passionate about mindfulness, healing, movement, and helping people reconnect with themselves in a healthier way.
Welcome to Your Ultimate Comeback, the show where we explore what it really takes to transform your body, your mindset, and your life.
From health and fitness to resilience, relationships, and personal growth, we bring you real conversations with people who faced challenges, reinvented themselves, and found a way to come back stronger.
Whether you're rebuilding physically, mentally, emotionally, or professionally,
this podcast is here to give you the tools, perspective, and inspiration to take the next step forward.
Because your setback
doesn't have to be your ending. This is your ultimate comeback.
Hello, welcome back to Your Ultimate Comeback, episode 135. Popping them out.
Yes, we are.
Week after week.
Yep.
I'm pretty excited about today. Today, I really like the podcast where we start to talk about ultimate comebacks.
Yeah.
Like people have been knocked flat down by life and then have the courage and the will and the fight to bring themselves back better than ever. Today, we have one of those stories.
I love that.
And I'm excited about this one because I was actually in the corner of this fight.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't in the fight. I was in the corner of the fighter.
Yes.
But
you were the cut man.
I was the cut man. I was the cut man. But this one, we got him sitting right across from us, the man who was in the fight and fought heroically for himself. And you've all heard about him. We've talked about him multiple times on the podcast. We have Randy Baird with us. Randy.
Ooh.
Wow. Thank you so
Where's
much for being with us.
Where's my applause button? I forgot which one it is, Caesar. Yeah.
No, super excited to have you here, brother. Super excited to share your story. And the messages that we've been talking about for a while, and the message that's going to come from this story.
No, and all the way through, I've listened to you and Raquel and listened to the ultimate comeback and how to be ready for the emergency. The emergency you don't know is coming at you.
Yeah.
And as I turned 60, and I know Raquel's getting up there too, you never know when you're going to get hit by this truck that all of a sudden you get hit by. And I got hit by a truck.
Yeah, you did.
I call it a semi.
Yeah, right, yes.
So, hey, before, I'm just honored to have you here. Honored that I got to be a part of this journey, and the journey's still going. But before we get into the truck, the semi.
It wasn't a truck, by the way.
Yeah, I want you to share with people, because this is something I think is really critical, is who you were before the semi showed up. Like how you lived your life. Like what did a day in your life look like how you took care of yourself? Because it was really impressive. How you trained, how you ate. Like before the semi showed up, what did a life in the day of Randy look like?
My wife and I were contractors. We built high-end swimming pools from La Jolla all the way to Malibu. Had crews of about 50 people. Was always extremely active. Did a lot of trail running. Mountain biking was my gig. Early in my career, I actually took care of all the 24-hour fitnesses from the Mexican border all the way to Central California, and wow. I absolutely hated the gym. If you've ever seen what the spa in North Hollywood gym looks like, you don't want to be there.
It probably depends on who you are, actually.
I didn't want to be there.
Fair.
So going to the gym was just not part of my routine. Staying in great shape, mountain biking, climbing mountains, going to Majeska Peak, the top of the peak, or trail running was my idea of a good time of getting out and getting, just having a great time. But, it came a time when you turned 60 that you realized that weight training was a little more important. And that's a little bit of where the story starts. At 2015, we sold our company, thought we were going to retire. Didn't work out real well. So I get to do some expert witness and traveling around and seeing exotic properties these days, and mostly get to train with you, which is that's what I look forward to.
How did you two meet?
Oh, man, a great story. So when I turned, in 2021, I turned 60, and I knew I needed to start training, and I went and found a trainer. And it was a local trainer because I'd walk 8 to 10 miles every day. Every morning I'd walk down to the beach, walk the...
Are you catching this? Like a lot of cardiovascular training.
Right.
I just want to make sure everyone's catching that.
Yeah, I was training a lot, and I found a local gym and went in and met the owner, and he assigned me a 27-year-old hunk of a guy that was... on something that, he was handsome, young. He reminded me of my son. And Raquel, at that point, I got used to going to the gym. I needed him for almost the therapy like I used Brad for. He's my psychic help.
Right, yeah.
And I was going through, back in those days, I've been in the sun a lot of Mohs surgeries, and I headed in. I had some serious Mohs surgery on my face, and I've been fortunate I haven't had any of those since I started some of the peptides. I attribute some of that to the Clo we were talking about earlier. But nonetheless, I went in, had this just a huge fish hook taken out of my face, and showed up for my training with this trainer, and he was gone. He historically was always 30 minutes late.
Oh, boy.
Just was the way it was. And he was a good guy. I mean, I accepted that was just his mentality,
minutes?
right?
Wow.
But when he finally showed back up, and I got through that week of all the stitches in my face, he basically had forgot to tell me that he had scheduled a trip to Catalina with his fiance.
Boy.
So I decided I probably ought to put together a protocol of what I expected out of a trainer. And
I told you about this.
Yeah, you did.
I went to every gym on this bluff, and I went to 5 gyms. I had 2 sheets. And the first thing was like, you're going to show up on time. And, the rest of it was just common business practices you think that most trainers would understand. And the last guy that I met with was Brad. And he not only brought me in, but he put me stretched and twisted and, just worked me around, I guess, to make sure that I was, not a liability, probably.
We call that an evaluation.
Yes.
And we took off, and it was probably the luckiest day of my life, because while he by far was the oldest of all the trainers that I
Notice how I didn't blame the hunk of a man.
Wow.
he certainly has the program. I can remember with my other trainer, it was like, oh, well, let's go here. You know what? Never mind. Let's go over here. And that doesn't happen, as you know, Raquel, with Brad.
Right.
We stick to a pretty strict regimen in what we're doing. So that, in a quick nutshell, is how I found him, and I was fortunate at that point, and I worked with you before the big incident, I think about a year and a half.
Yeah, and leading up to that incident was pretty incredible. I mean, cardiovascular-wise, you're incredible. Your recovery heart rate was incredible. Resting heart rate was incredible. Like all the facets you would want to see in someone considering cardiovascular healthy, they were there.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, gosh, even the cardiologist, if I remember right, the one you were seeing at the time was like, yeah, you're fine. Get out of here.
Would not see me anymore. She was actually the head of the Heart Institute out of Hogue. Really, senior cardiologist, always had 2 trainees behind her, and she was in a $3,000 suit. Basically told me she didn't want to see me anymore because I could outdo the treadmill. All of the ultrasounds, all of that I passed. Blood looked fantastic. In fact, Brad had me in such great shape that, the turning point was that I wanted to get off statins. And I didn't understand why I was on the statins anymore, because after all, my trainer was Brad Davidson.
How long have you been president of the Brad Davidson fan club? Is that new or
not as long as you?
Touche.
So she basically kicked me out of her office, and to get off the statins. And I want to warn everybody: don't go off of statins, because it was a mistake that I made, and my levels rocketed within 30 days. But I have Dr. Joseph Ling is my just doctor out of Hogue. He said, look, Randy, if you go in and you take a calcium test, which I had nerve, your insurance is not going to cover it. It's going to cost you a couple $100. If you basically take this calcium test and you pass it, then I'll take you off the statins. That's good. Cardiologist still wanted nothing to do with me. She wouldn't even see me anymore. She basically, and just a note, my dad had died at 55 on his 3rd bypass surgery. Both my younger brothers have both had heart attacks and have stents. I knew that, basically the gene pool was working against me all the way. And this is why I was working out. This is why I was trying to take care of myself.
It was incredible to watch back then.
Yeah.
Like the workouts he would get through. We talk a lot about the German body comp training, the peripheral heart training. I mean, this guy was the master of those things. It was impressive what he could push through. And we'd always monitor his heart rate. We'd always watching his heart rate, and it was incredible.
Like, I've been on Morpheus since the beginning, and Brad would comment, wow, man, your heart rate drops really quick for an old guy.
Yeah, it was like, impressive.
Yeah.
Like trumps the hell out of me from a cardiovascular development standpoint.
So quick story is I go in and I get this calcium test. By then I was not doing the right thing, and I'd come off the statins for about 30 days, and my levels rocketed up. A good calcium score is 0, and they rate you. And it's basically a test where they go in and they evaluate through AI or analytics what your chances are of having a cardiac event. And 400 is really bad. I mean, they figure if you're at 400, you're going to have a cardiac event very soon.
Oh, wow.
I came back at 2,000.
Whoa.
Yeah. And, I had to go to my psychiatric help, which is Brad, right? And I walk in because my cardiologist is worthless at this point. And I said, Brad, man, check this out. What do we do? And I remember you called several friends and doctors that you know, and basically we just kind of threw our hands up and said, look, everybody said you got to get to the cardiologist. And fortunately, that's where Dr. Kevin Catheter came into the picture. He was just down the hall over at the Hoag Center. I walked in and got an appointment. I believe it was October of 23. I had worked out the first morning I saw him. It was on the 25th of October, actually. And Brad had gone to a game with Gavin, his son, a Rams game. So I bumped it. The night before, you'd gone to a Rams game with Gavin. And you bumped me to 6 o'clock in the morning. So I went in, did my normal routine with Brad, and then took my Morpheus screenshot into Dr. Kevin Catheter and said, look, man, you don't understand. I know I got this bad score, but I'm in the best shape of my life. I've never been in such great shape. My trainer is Brad Davidson. So, is he going to
be able to fit out the door after this, Caesar? I don't know.
So I
take it off the hinges.
I show him the screenshot, and he looks at it, and he's a great doctor. And he grabs the phone, and he looks at it, and he sets it down, and he says, well, you won't be working out with Brad any longer.
Ooh.
I said, okay. And he said, you're not going to be paddleboarding either until I can get inside you and see what's going on. Something's wrong. Wow. He says, something's wrong. So that's when I had to make the call to Brad and said, hey, man, I'm off the roster. I got to cancel Friday, and I'm not allowed to work out. He fast-tracked it at that point and got me into the Catheter Lounge. And the Catheter Lounge is a crazy cool place. And almost everybody's going to get a chance to probably see it sometime in their lifetime as you get there.
Unfortunately.
At Hoag, it's this crazy cool room on the bottom floor that's just got these beautiful computers on one wall. The other wall is all glass panels. It's about 12 foot high, and it's got every roto-rooter tool to get through your arteries into your heart that you can imagine. Every length, width, tool heads. The doctor can literally go shopping down to figure out which roto-rule tool he's going to put through either your calf or through your arm.
Yeah.
So that's quite an experience. I mean, this place it's space age. There's a 10-foot TV over the top of you, and then some type of X-ray machine that moves back and forth. And the X-rays they got out of there that day, they continued to use all the way through. And I think, Caesar, I forward there's actually a picture of my chest cavity after they opened it up. And it was quite a day. I can remember back, it was, October 25th or right the end of October of 23. And as you go under, there's an anesthesiologist, and Dr. Catheter's there. And he basically says, okay, we're going to go in. You're going to be twilighted. You'll kind of be able to hear me, but maybe not. And the nurse says, hey, what type of music do you like to listen to? I said, well, Sabuji is like really going hot right now. Why don't you throw on some Sabuji? And up cranks the tunes, man. And, Sabuji comes on, and the anesthesiologist comes over the top, and he says, okay, yeah, I'm going to put you to sleep now. And I said, okay, didn't think much about it. Don't remember anything until what must have only been a few minutes later. They brought me back, and they can bring you back quick. It's amazing. We were not even halfway or 3/4 of the way through the Sabuji song. And, I mean, literally, It happened that quick. And Dr. Catheter was there, and he says, hey, Randy, I could work on you for the next 4, 5, 6 hours, roto-rooter, everything I could. He goes, I know I told you 99% chance you'd be going home today and everything would be good, but you need to see a surgeon. There's just nothing I could do for you. Wow. And that was where this show, The Ultimate Comeback and being ready, actually started. That's where everything, Raquel, you said about getting ready for the next big emergency, that's when it started. Because when they rolled me out of the Catheter Lounge, I was being interviewed for basically the best of the best doctors. And if you know anything about surgeons or the way they work, they will not take on a case that they don't, they want to be successful too. You get the best surgeons if you're in the best shape. And as I rolled out of there, they started evaluating my breathing, my lung capacity, because they're worried about you going on to ventilators. They're worried about you coming off of the ventilators. They want to know where the veins are that they're going to harvest to replumb your heart. And I can remember within about the next 45 minutes to an hour, I had gone through everybody checking the veins, checking the cardiac, checking things that I have no idea what they were checking, but they were checking things, and I actually got it all done that day, and then was accepted by the leading heart surgeon out of Hoag because he had a spot. He knew he could get me in. He knew that he could get me through in a timely manner, and that's all due to you guys. That's what Brad had done for me.
Yeah. Yeah, they made a comment. I remember you telling me a story. They made a comment to you in the operating room before they started about how the shape you were in.
Yeah.
Tell the listeners a little bit about what they told you.
Well, again, you're being interviewed at this point, and I don't know if anybody realizes that. So that's why you get in shape today for this emergency. You have no idea that's going to hit you. And so as I did the breathing machine. We'd gone through COVID, so most of us have been around sometime that somebody's been on a breathing machine or during COVID. That was my largest fear, was waking up out of the surgery room having a ventilator in my throat. And I'd watch videos and doing different things, but the guy who did the breathing test said, "Wow, nobody performs at that level. Your lungs are in great shape." And I'm not a smoker, I've been eating right, I've been doing what I was supposed to be doing. And he says, you're not going to have to worry about coming off the ventilator. And I never did remember at all the ventilator. And the same with the arteries and the veins. I mean, they found a multitude of veins because, you had me doing, I was lifting heavy. Yeah. Even back then, I was lifting pretty heavy. So
did they ever tell you why, like the reasoning why cardiovascularly you look so solid? Like
Brad Davidson.
Well, no. No. Like structurally, what had happened? Like your main arteries are all clogged up, but your resting heart rate is still super low. Your recovery's super well. Did they ever tell you what had happened to bypass that?
They did, and ultimately I had 100% blockage in what was known as the Widowmaker. And the Widowmaker itself, if you have a cardiac event while you're in the emergency room, you have about a 12% chance of living.
Yeah.
Wow.
Had I had a cardiac event while I was walking down the street or walking, about an 8% chance of survival, I believe are the statistics. And basically because we were working out so just perfectly, the blood had rerouted around the Widowmakers and stuff, and it wasn't a great way to live, but what was happening was the blood had found its own pathways around that. Again, dangerous. Extremely.
Yeah.
And then the dumb move of coming off the statins without any advice, because I thought, well, my trainer is Brad Davidson.
I never told you to come off that. I never told you to do that.
but nonetheless, the blood will find its way around, I've heard. And there's a term for it. I can't think about it.
Usually it's like a new vascular bed being built from the training effect.
And it was because I was still training 3 days a week at that point. My heart rates were dropping and I felt great. I never, of course, it helped that I had never had a heart attack. I didn't have a heart attack at the point that I went in. So there was no major cardiovascular event that had happened. And then you had me in, just in great shape.
Yeah.
I was in fantastic shape.
Yeah. So let's fast forward to, was it a quadruple bypass surgery?
Quadruple bypass.
That was the semi-truck.
Yep.
Yeah.
I came out of that feeling pretty good. And it's amazing that, I've broken my ribs a couple of times, fallen or off a mountain bike or on a dock or something like that, and that's painful.
Yeah.
I don't ever remember being in that kind of pain coming out of the heart surgery. What I do remember is you've got a picture of when I woke up. They give you this pillow, and you're like, "Oh, that's a cute little pillow." Okay? That's cool. It's a heart-shaped pillow, and it's got a picture of a heart. And they say, "Yeah, you're going to appreciate that pillow soon because they've split your chest has been split open. So even moving, lifting, moving up, every time you move for 30 days, you hold on to that pillow like there's no end." So as I remember waking up in the ICU emergency room coming out of surgery, and my wife was there, and the doctor said, "Hey man, you did great. Everything looked good." You know, basically what they do during the surgery is they stop your heart, they split you open, and they re-sew everything back together with these new arteries, and then they shock you and they bring you back to life. So, you know, you want to be in the best of shape to get through that. Yeah. And Quadruple, or they call it CABG, the cardiac bypass, it apparently is good for 20, 25, 30 years. And the training regimen you've had me on since that time has brought me back. They certainly, I couldn't work out for a month. I didn't see you for, I think, almost 5 months.
Yeah.
They sent me to Hoag's Rehabilitation or physical therapy for a period of time, which is over here just off Superior, where I 3 times a week had to be hooked up to monitors, and they would tell me to go away and go do something. It was frustrating because I was, when I went into surgery, I was about 178 pounds. And you had me, again, I was happy with where I was. When I went into physical therapy, I had bounced up about 10 pounds to 188. While that 3 months was in the Hoag physical therapy, I gained another 10 pounds. And for whatever reason, I still to this day don't understand, I was being pretty tough on myself, and every time I'd gain, I'd get mad, and I'd start dieting or doing whatever I could. I wasn't eating wrong. I was eating still the same perfect stuff, and I finally, by the end of it, got up to 198, and they'd never say a word if I went up. But for some reason, on the days that I could drop 3-4 pounds, man, the RNs were on me. I mean, like, how come you're losing weight? How come you're losing weight? So for whatever reason, it was a concern of theirs. I didn't feel good at, 198 pounds. And then you and I spent probably the next year trying to get through that. For anyone that doesn't know, when you do come out of cardiac rehab like that, they put me on beta blockers. And it's something you need to tell your personal trainer if you're on beta blockers.
Yeah, super important.
Yeah, and so 4 or 5 months later, I got through their physical therapy, came back and was released to Brad, and we put the Morpheus trainer back on, and off I went to where I'm at today. It's been a year and a half, so this November 13th will be my 2-year anniversary of cardiac bypass.
Wow. Yeah, and just so listeners know, like, he didn't show back up in my realm and we just started cranking on him.
Yeah.
Like, we rebuilt from the ground floor up, monitoring the heart rate, monitoring recovery. Like, everything was very structured and very methodical. So, like, I mean, we went back and did the workouts we did day one. You'd be like, that was all I did. But back then, we had to methodically rebuild the system once he passed the cardiac rehab. But yeah, I know the weight loss for you was very frustrating.
It was frustrating for you too. I mean, I can remember you saying, "Hey man, cut down on on the olive oil you're putting on your protein in the morning. What are you doing?"
Yeah, I think the body holds that weight in that scenario because of the trauma. It's gonna it has to heal itself, and you hear a lot about healing situations where people will hold on to weight until the healing has happened. And I thought that kind of was going on. A lot of trauma he went through. The body was in a very protective state. I know we got to a point. We've been kicking on the training. At a certain point, they started kind of weaning you off some of your meds, right?
Completely. The blood levels were coming back great, and that was from the workouts. And ultimately, you and Raquel were both doing a lot with peptides, and my goal was to try and get onto peptides. Now, post-cardiac, with cardiologists and doctors in our current medical system, trying to suggest peptides is a slippery slope at best. So the first step was to get off the beta blockers, which they told me I would never get off of. And I think it was probably about the 4-month period, I was starting to have super low heartbeats. I was getting a little faint, and in certain portions of the workout, I got a little bit dizzy. And they started monitoring, and I monitored my heart rates and went to the cardiologist, and he goes, "Yeah, dude, you're in friggin' great shape. You're off the beta blockers." He goes, I don't take hardly anybody off, but you're done. And that was a rush, because when I came off the beta blockers were keeping my heart rate. It wouldn't allow it to go over about 125, 130 beats a minute, no matter how hard Brad drove me. I mean, it stuck there, man. It stuck. And once I came off it, they wanted to just pull me off it. And Brad and I talked about it. And we said, no, let's wean you off of it.
Yeah.
And we weaned off, I think, over a couple of weeks. But it was still, all of a sudden now we're, he can get me 155, 160 beats a minute, and he doesn't, he doesn't seem to be too afraid of that. So.
Yeah. Well, because we were nowhere near that in the beginning. Like, in the beginning, it was like if he got crept up on 120, we cut back.
Yeah.
And yeah. So gradually over time, we started pushing his heart rate a little higher, pushing a little higher. But then we're really strict on our recovery. Like once he has a certain level, we won't start the next set until he's at a certain level. And then we watch over time, like how fast that's coming down. It's pretty cool to watch how fast his heart rate recovers. Let's talk a little bit about peptides. I think that this has been a huge benefit to you, but we had to get your doctor's okay. And you got a wink, right?
Yeah, I mean, from a cardiologist.
Yeah.
And bless Dr. Catheter, because he's aware. I think the medical professions know, and we didn't start out on anything radical.
Oh yeah,
the BPC 157, and the TV guys, it was all healing. GHQs-CU, those were the ones that really have shown to really help healing, skin healing, just the way my skin was reacting. And I think what was happening on the outside was also happening internally.
Yeah.
And so once I got the wink from Dr. Catheter and certainly from Dr. Joseph Ling, my other doctor, they've never said yes, but they certainly don't say stop, don't go, and I think they trust me at this point.
Well, we did a really good deep dive early on peptides and cardiologists and how they like to use them on the ones that will talk about them, and so that's what we started with, was the ones that the cardiologists that do talk about him. There's a great guy, I can't remember who he was. He did a really deep dive into cardiology and peptides that go well with cardiology, and so those are the ones we started with, kind of based on the healing and all that stuff. I did think it was pretty cool, the GHKCU. You come out of a quadruple bypass surgery, that big scar down your sternum. Yeah, you were showing Raquel earlier. That thing is barely visible anymore.
Yeah, I didn't volunteer that. She really pushed.
I know she wanted to see.
Come on, tell your shirt.
In the middle of the show, you should just expose it.
But you can see how quickly all the skin is healed. Hair coming back. Beard's twice as thick. So inevitably though, that honestly, it didn't do a lot with the weight. I mean, we were working 3 days a week, tough workouts. I was off the beta blockers, and I think you kind of had me down to 188. I'd lost that 10 pounds.
Yeah.
And I actually got to the point because of the show where I didn't care. I was alive, right? It's like, okay, you know what, a little bit fat, I'm okay. I'm alive. And then we finally got to the point where I went on to retatrutide, and I believe I've been on retatrutide probably 3 months now, and I've checked in this morning about 163 pounds, so I'm down about 35 pounds and in the best shape of my friggin' life right now. I feel great. I have zero pain. I mean, I have not had any pain whatsoever. As I progress through it.
What's cool to retatrutide, he's on actually a really low dose. We started with a very small dose and just let that run its course, because he's just kind of cleaned up what was left over.
Right.
So we've never had to push him to a high level of retatrutide to create this weight loss. And I believe that's because of how he trains, how he eats, how he sleeps. I mean, he is dialed. Dialed. Man, 35 pounds. I knew it was around 30, but 35 is pretty good.
35, and I'm okay to stay here. Honestly,
I think you've titrated up to your 2 milligrams.
Yeah, I'm on the micro dose.
Yeah, we started at 0.5 milligram, and over time, we just run that until he would go 2 weeks without any change, and then we'd increase it. Yeah. I think you're at 2 milligrams now.
And I'm going to taper off of it, and vacillate back and forth a little bit. Yeah. And again, if I can stay right here for the rest of my life, then, as long as I can get into the gym and keep up with my workouts and, lift as heavy as Raquel's lifting, then I'm okay.
Now, I saw you working out, and that was impressive.
Yeah.
It was.
Well, and what I love is that he's not only cardiovascularly fit and back to his best shape there, but man, you're stronger than ever.
way stronger than I was even when we first showed up. And,
Yeah.
and I've got a ways to go, so I'm going to keep lifting and just, it's just one step at a time.
Yeah.
I'm super happy with where I'm at. And I can't even imagine where you're going to take me in the next year, because my trainer is
Rod Davis. Don't worry, everyone. Raquel humbles me very quickly, so we're good on that.
No, I read your story because he forwarded it to me, and I was like, wow, this guy loves you, Brad. Holy smokes,
Hey,
Brad Davidson.
We've been through hell together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, it is.
Yeah.
Everybody should have a president of their fan club. Everybody.
Yeah.
You
No,
deserve it, Brad.
It's been a hell of a journey.
Yeah.
when somebody walks to death's door with you
Yeah. No,
and
absolutely.
pulls you back.
Yeah.
You know what? You've got a lot of
Yes.
trust in that
No,
individual.
absolutely.
And the network that I have built, and, working out is great and everybody should do it, but, it's my therapy time. It's my time that I get to talk to Brad. And we don't talk a lot. I mean, we get through our workouts. Sometimes we don't say too much, but, it's therapy. It's my therapy time.
Get that.
Well, and I like his team of doctors. They've been very supportive of what we do.
Yeah.
Like, we run everything through them.
Oh,
They've
good.
been very supportive.
Good.
And will give us feedback. And I think that's so valuable. As a strength coach, it's super valuable to know that I have them on my
Yes.
side, and we can run things through them, and they'll give us feedback on what to do, what not to do. That was from a comfort level for me.
Yeah, I bet.
And it's not common. So like I really loved that, knowing that I had them on my side.
Mm-hmm.
I could trust their advice.
Yep.
They trusted me. And like it was a really, really profound impact on his life, because it wasn't me trying to guess. It wasn't them poo-pooing on me.
Right.
Because my strategies are a little different. And they never poo-pooed on anything.
Yeah.
They would give it like not yet, or yes, okay go. Like it was really nice to have that support. And I think those types of doctors in this realm are super valuable, because it's a scary factor for me, knowing what I'm working with.
Yep.
And knowing that I need to know my limits.
CPR card is valid.
Yeah. Thank God I coach youth sports. That's validated every 2 years. But knowing that I had their guidance as well
Absolutely.
was so valuable. And knowing that I had their guardrails in place of what we could and couldn't do. And that was huge.
Yeah.
And that's not common. So often someone comes in an injury and the medical team won't talk. They won't respond. They won't give any information. They won't validate anything. So that was, I think for me, that was a huge plus to know that we're on this crazy journey, the level he was at. I mean, it came out of cardiac rehab. That was not it was nerve wracking.
Oh yeah,
that was
crazy. I was a big liability for
100%. And so knowing that I had that on my
Don't
hands.
sign anything like, hey.
No, because but it was just from a comfort level standpoint, that was huge for me.
I get it.
Having those guardrails were massive. Knowing that, okay, this is the level I can push to. I can't go past this level until we get the next clearance. And so that was really that made my life a whole lot easier. Right. Because I'm not a heart expert. I understand the training philosophy and all the stuff behind that stuff. But I don't really know, the levels that these people know.
Sure.
So to have their support through all this, I think was really, really valuable for me from a comfort level standpoint, and having those guardrails was huge. But yeah, talking about you being stronger than ever. I mean, we're talking like, what are you, 60, 62?
I'll be 65 October.
65. 18 months ago, was in surgery, and he's now back squatting over 200 pounds.
That's amazing.
Bench pressing, over 155.
Yep.
I mean, 18 months ago, we weren't even doing these exercises. A few months in, we're using the bar. So to see the strength benefit, which I think is hugely important, because everyone knows muscle mass and strength are two great predictors of longevity. So not only do we got to rebuild the cardiovascular system, we got to rebuild his strength, we got to rebuild his muscle mass, and now that he's losing the weight, we got to make sure he's keeping all that, which you are doing a phenomenal job with that.
Loving it.
I think that your muscle mass is up 3 pounds, right?
Yeah, and everything on all of the weight, the scale, everything's looking good, and I'm at 15 on the, I need to tighten it up a little bit. I like to get to your 12%.
He's at 15% body fat right now. Yeah.
So I've got a little bit to go.
Yeah, even as we moved into this realm of focusing on the weight loss, it's been fat loss. And his muscle mass, the way he's doing it with the lower dosing and the eating the protein and the lifting and the sleeping. Yeah. Where you hear a lot of the horror stories of people using things like retatrutide, and there's a huge amount of muscle mass loss. Yeah. He's put 3 pounds of muscle on while stripping off the body fat. And his strength is getting better and better and better as we roll, these are the critical things you want to watch in these scenarios.
So he's got me on this Bavarian math. As he started that with you, it doesn't go 1, 2. It goes 1, 1 1/4, 1, 1 1/4. It's like, what's the quarter, man?
There's a lot of fun little tricks that he has, aren't there?
This new Bavarian math. It's like, what are you doing to me?
Quarters. I like the word pause a lot.
Yes, he does. But you know, if you did well, if he says beauty, do you get beauty?
I get beauty.
Okay. Beauty.
And if I don't say anything for too long, he gets this kind of scared look. Oh, you okay? I'm just spacing out, man. I'm stoned on endorphins right now. Okay.
I mean, I have his heart rate in front of me at all times. So there's sometimes where I push it a little bit, and then he's a little quiet.
Literally, you have his app open?
It's on his phone. Heart rate is going the whole time because we're still monitoring heart rate levels, recovery levels, things like that. Yeah. But sometimes the only time I get scared is when his heart rate's kind of at the higher level we're pushing and he's quiet.
Oh, I get that.
Then I'm like, you okay?
You okay?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm good. I was just thinking about this or that. Okay. Yeah. So I still have a little bit of that paranoia at times. But so to wrap this up, what's a good day look like for Randy Baird now?
You know, I love the gym. And for someone who hated the gym up until the time I was 61, you know, I mean, I love going to the gym. I walk, I paddleboard 2 days a week. I walk every day of the week, 7 days a week. I get to, walk down past the gym to Newport. I paddleboard right out of 15th Street.
Cool.
So, today is probably one of the best days ever because I have a 4.5-year-old grandbaby.
Aww, love that.
He sent me the best video of this little girl. Yeah. She's drawing.
Uh-huh.
What does she call you?
Dadoon.
Dadoon. She goes, Dadoon, stop moving.
Oh, she was
drawing Randy.
Oh my God.
And he was moving too much.
So she's who wanted to come film with you, right?
She did. So when we get home, we have to do her own podcast with her own movie. Now, she doesn't have Brad Davis, but she's got Dadoon.
Dadoon.
She does have Dadoon.
Dadoon, stop moving.
That's hysterical.
Well, Randy, I mean, I love you, man. You're one of my favorite people. The stuff we've been through, you amaze me, to be honest. Like seeing how you chose to fight what you went through. Yeah. Most people go through that, they give up. They're scared. Mm-hmm. They don't do anything. So they succumb to the battle. Yeah. And you, I mean, one of the greatest warriors I've ever seen in how you approach stuff.
Truly the ultimate comeback. And get ready right now for the emergency. You have no idea when it's going to hit you. You just don't know. So I better get in shape today. Yeah. And I got that from you too. Yeah. That came from this podcast somewhere back in episode 50 or 60, somewhere, way back. And it was, get ready today for the emergency. Raquel's big emergency was she was going to turn 60. And I had to live through that. It's like, really? Come on.
Well, it's, what can I say? But he has been a stellar client too. Oh, right?
Yeah.
As far as following instructions, doing things exactly the protocol as you are expecting and as the doctors are expecting. So that's a tribute. I mean, right?
Yeah, what I'm saying, the way he attacked this was, I have to be careful what I tell him to do because he's going to go do it. Which is my favorite scenario to be in. I'd rather be the brakes than the gas pedal.
Right.
So, I mean, that mindset was one of the biggest reasons why. The way he attacked going in and the way he attacked coming out, it's that mindset. I think that was the biggest proponent of the success of all this.
I love it.
So I'm lucky to have Brad Davidson as my trainer.
We're going to count how many times he said it. I'm going to have Caesar put that tally in the notes. That's good. It's good for you, Brad. You deserve it.
Yeah, especially when I got to deal with you weekly.
That's true. And did that help balance it out?
Totally. I felt more like I feel in the most balanced I've been in a while. That made up for all the terror you give me.
Okay. All right.
Terror and the torture.
Yes, absolutely.
I think we should give a big shout out to Dr. Kevin Kader and Dr. Is it Lynn?
Joseph Ling.
Dr. Joseph Ling.
Both part of my team. As much as you are. And they've been open. They know your name personally. They're going to get a copy of the podcast. And they know the story. Yeah. So they know who you are and what you do for just normal people like me.
And I know I've never got to meet them, but I mean, I just hope they hear how thankful I am that they would advise the way they would, that they were open to looking and open to giving feedback and controlling the variables in a realm that was uncomfortable for me But loving Randy, I wanted to make sure that we got him as good as we could.
For sure.
So big thank you to those guys over there, and like they were phenomenal with how
So isn't that great that you see? This is the silver lining of having the bad experience with the original trainer, caused you to seek him out. Right. So this, kismet. It was, you guys were brought together for a reason.
There's a lot of luck there too, though, because there's a lot of trainers.
For sure.
A lot of
but
trainers.
But that's what I'm saying. There's a little God nod there.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah. It was, wow.
Yeah.
Without him.
Brad Davidson.
Without Brad Davidson, I don't know that I probably wouldn't be alive, honestly, because the training to get ready for the surgery and pass all the tests of the best surgeon was all Brad.
They must have I would have loved to have seen their faces when she'd be like, wait a minute, this guy's, blowing doors on all these things, yet that had to be crazy as a doctor.
It was. And for Dr. Catheter to say, you're not going back to see Brad till I get in there. I can't let him do this to you.
Right.
Well, thank God, and thank God nothing happened leading up to that. Because there was no, like, in my realm, and we were monitoring, nothing was notifying me as, damn, there's a problem.
Yeah.
It was one of the best scenarios I've ever seen.
Right.
And you had my blood work. You had the other cardiologist.
Yeah, we monitored.
She gave me pass.
Yeah, we were watching his heart rate every workout. I mean, it was incredible.
Yeah. Oh, you were already watching.
We were already watching.
I was on Morpheus.
Already.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, we were watching everything, and I was like, God, this guy is insane. I would tell people like, this is the guy. Like, I've never seen someone so cardiovascularly fit in my life. I would have said there's no way in hell that this was what was going to happen.
Right.
When he went to see them, there was no way I thought that. When he told me, I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Or when I came back with the calcium score, and I would suggest anybody get that calcium
100%.
score. It's
glad that you
worth the
went and did that.
$200.
And thank God that Dr. Lynn told you to go do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was a save, and it forced me to go find Dr. Catheter.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's phenomenal. Last question, takeaway for the listeners. We like to ask people this question in this scenario. Someone who's listening to this right now who's staring down their own mountain. Maybe it's their heart. Maybe it's something nobody can see. What do you want to say to them?
Man, go get yourself ready, because you just don't know what emergency is going to happen. That's what the ultimate comeback, the Brad Davidson show, Raquel, what you brought to the table is you better be ready for the next emergency that you have no idea what it is and when it's going to happen to you, and you don't have a say in it. Yeah. I had no say in this.
Right.
But fortunately, I was ready for the mountain.
Yeah, definitely.
What's the old saying? Better to be prepared for the battle and never experience the battle versus to experience the battle and not be prepared for the battle.
Sure.
Yeah. Randy, thank you so much, man.
Hey, thank you both. Yeah. And I'm here because of both of you.
Yeah. Thank you for taking some time away from the granddaughter and swinging by here, being with us. Really appreciate it.
No, that would have been that would have been more distracting.
Okay. I think she would have hung out and just listened to what's the nickname?
Dadoon.
Dadoon.
What's Dad doing?
Yeah.
Dadoon. What's Dad doing?
Got it.
Dadoon.
Okay,
Dadoon the
That's
beast.
cute.
She's adorable.
I love it.
But hey, thank you for trusting me with the training. Thank you for trusting us to be on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And just to be able to have listeners hear from you what's actually possible on the other side of the worst daily life. Yeah. It's a good story to hear. And people need to hear that, because most people at some point are going to end up in the situation of like, oh shit, my life's over. What do I do?
Yep.
And they got some inspiration here.
Absolutely.
I think.
Get to the gym, and hopefully your trainer is Brad Davidson.
And we'll end on that.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much, Randy.